If you want to go far in Sulfur's endless mode, you gotta start with the arsenal. To give yourself the best fighting chance at surviving for multiple stages, you're gonna need the best of the best guns you could possibly think of, or that maybe I thought of. Because today, I'm not bringing you 3 guns, I'm not bringing you 5, I'm gonna show you 10 guns. 10 guns, maybe even more, or maybe less. I think it's 10. It should be 10. Hopefully, let me count. Okay, don't go worrying your pretty little head. I double counted, triple technically, and there is 10 guns I'm gonna show you right now. Let's get into it. Seeing that we got 10 guns, I thought we would switch up where the lab was today. No longer will we be hanging out in the crapper, but instead we'll use the gun rack, which is probably where we should have done this from the beginning. I decided to break the guns up into different categories, and the first set is going to be your primary weapons, which doesn't really make sense in the whole realm of Sulfur, but it does for this conversation. Your primary guns in endless mode are kind of like your opening act. You're gonna be using them until you can get infinite durability and then pull out your stronger guns, the ones that have pretty much unlimited potential. This Catacoil Rapid X is not only great in taking down enemies in a 1v1, but really good against swarms of mobs too, you know, like when they glob together, which they do pretty much all the freaking time. And the big driving force behind that is chain lightning. If you hit an enemy with chain lightning, there's a chance for it to jump to enemies that are close nearby, so you can take out multiple mobs all at once. It's a great scroll. Lightning scrolls are really powerful. You're gonna get an extra projectile at the cost of 15% damage with tandem, making it one of the best oils in the game that cannot be disputed. It is so cheap. This and Gemini, I always like to pair them because if you've got a higher power weapon, so something that's doing like 500-600 damage per hit, something crazy, you wouldn't be so quick to use tandem because 15% of 600 is a lot. But if you use Gemini, it's a flat rate of 30 and you lose 30 damage. That's great. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is if you see a tandem or you see a Gemini, make sure to pick that up and stash it, because at some point you're going to want to use it. We're talking top tier oils here. Next, we got Late Boom, which is another top tier oil. How original can I be? With plus 30 flat rate damage and only negative 30% to the bullet speed, it just makes sense to amp them numbers up a little bit. Here's where we're going to get just a bit weird, because when you think of endless mode, you don't think about not looting. You want the extra food that enemies are going to drop, this and that. But remember, this isn't going to be the only gun you're going to be using. You're going to want to use your super powered guns once you can get infinite durability, and then you can get loot that way. At some point, you're going to be so overflowing with loot that you can't even pick it up anyways. That's not to mention that your stashes should already be loaded with health potions and other healing items, double cheeseburgers, whatever you want to put in there. So we'll take 100% less loot chance, meaning no loot at all from kills with this gun, in exchange for 50% more durability, bringing it up to 4,500 durability, making sure that it can last as long as possible if you don't come across an infinite durability card. It's a primary gun that you're gonna end up using a lot, so you don't want it to break too easily. But you should use any oil that you want to use with it. If there's a different durability oil and you'd like just a little bit less, or a different reason for using it, then go ahead. Release oil might even make more sense considering you don't get any recoil from your energy weapons, and I should probably take Inherited off and put Release on. It just makes more sense. Yeah, I made a little oopsie daisy, but so does everybody. That's why we got a blood fountain, which isn't the real name of that. What is it? What is this called, Arthur? It's something weird. Oh, the baptismal font. I'm not religious. I don't know what that means, but that's why we have baptismal fonts, man. And the reason we have puncher oil on the Catacoil is not because it rhymes. Every oil rhymes with Catacoil, you fucking idiot. But because we're getting 150% extra recoil for 30% more damage, and since it's an energy gun, there is no recoil. The Major Dome, Valet, and Farsight are 3 guns that are excellent for endless mode because they take up less storage space. You can call me Nostradamus, or Nostradamus, I can't take the insults out of my brain. Because last year I predicted they were introducing these because we were getting closer to endless mode. They wanted us to see some of the guns that they think would do well in endless mode, and sure enough, having that extra inventory space really helps. And the Farsight is amazing for that. Now, this is the everyday AK, a gun I've already gone over in a different video, so I'll just link that here, and you can get builds for all 3 of those desert guns. Now, that is convenient. Or you could just take the build right here if you know what those oils oils and things do. Isn't that great? Yeah, just do whatever you want because I believe in you. It's the everyday AK, or the everyday K. God damn it. I struggled for a long time to make a flock that I really enjoyed. I thought I wanted it to be a flamethrower, and I even made a flamethrower at one point that I've showed off before. One day I decided to make a build with it that I could use in the background footage of a video, and it turns out it's one of my favorite guns I've ever used, and it will not leave my inventory if I'm in endless mode. It's a bit of a switch hitter because it's not just a primary, but it can be just a primary because of the insane durability and low shot cost to kill something. It's a one-shot gun. But on top of that, we've got the Tetris or satiety and mosquito oil combination, making it infinite ammo. I usually pull this out if there's any bigger enemies that are causing a lot of stress, like the Novanian guards. This can 2 to 3 tap them even without double damage later on into stages. I think if it's just a normal one with double damage, you could one-shot them with it. It's strong. That's all I'm saying. I like to chisel this one into a 50 BMG, and the Farsight actually was chiseled into a 7.62. You could use any ammo type you want, but when you do change up the ammo type, especially to something like a BMG or a shotgun chisel, the 12 gauge, your oil combinations are gonna change, so I need to do a better job at mentioning when I've re-chiseled. You're putting that sight on for the extra crit, you're chiseling it. Don't forget to put a prime bolt on this thing because it slaps super hard with that extra damage increase, and you're gonna get a lot of recoil from it, so you don't want to be flying to the moon every time you try to full auto something. You just don't need that right now. You're in endless. It's stressful. And to make it a really clean shot, I like to use ready oil, which is going to bring down your recoil 45% and your RPM just 40%, but you're already just tapping it anyways. And of course, Late Boom's fabulous brother Slow Punch, giving us 50% extra damage at the cost of 50% bullet speed. That is a pretty big half in the bullet speed department, but it won't be too noticeable. And then you throw on a parallel mag, which gives you an extra projectile at the cost of reload speed. Don't matter, you don't have to reload because this thing is infinite, baby. With pretty much no downside on an infinite ammo gun, you should be putting parallel mag on most of your infinite ammo guns. It just makes sense. When you want to make a gun that can stun in Sulfur, you look at scrolls like Petrification or Aftershock, but maybe you should be looking at Charm, because Charm is stupid good in endless, especially for stuff like the amalgamations. I used to just use explosive on them to get rid of them real quick, but enemies tend to struggle defeating them, except for the ones that explode. I mean, it's a win-win anyways. If they were charmed and they explode to somebody else, you still got rid of them, bozo. And the fun thing is if any of your charmed partners destroy an enemy, you still get all the XP you would get if you killed them. All it takes is for that enemy to die for the XP to drop. You don't have to do anything. You could take off that explosive flicker and throw on an unknown with charm. That's what I like to do. You get way more durability and it only takes up 1 extra slot. And since you're going to be in there for a while and you don't know when you'll be able to repair stuff, it could be beneficial. This Charm Unknown is an awesome failsafe. I usually only pull it out if it's my last option. And like I said, the next 2 guns are all about the charm, baby. When you charm an enemy, it turns them into your teammate. That's the simplest way of putting it. It's also a good time to mention, for some reason, dark lamps and dog whistles don't work in endless mode. I'm assuming it's a bug and Perfect Random's intentions aren't to strip away 2 trinkets that most people probably really enjoy for the best mode in the game once you get to the end game. Starting with the unknown build, you've got release oil, which will give you plus 40% maximum durability and the cost of 150% recoil. That's fine. It's an energy gun. We don't have to worry about recoil. You could swap out that inherited oil on the Catacoil with this thing. You know what I'm saying? That's, again, we went over this and it's just hurting twice as much the second time around. Then we get plus 20 flat rate damage from kicker oil, which is going to give us more recoil. I don't even care. It doesn't matter, dummy. Hey, there's Tandem again. We love to see it on a lot of builds, wherever it's really strong. Hey, he's next to another familiar face in Late Boom, a very, very strong oil that we've already talked about. Before you go into endless mode, make sure all of your storages have different guns inside of them. We went over this in the last video. If you haven't watched the one on the perk cards, definitely watch it. There's a lot of little information about everything in there. This Ploika is not a gun you want to bring with you into endless mode. It's something you pick up as a lifeline later on if you have no other options. Maybe at that point you also don't have a lot of food and your health is at 1500 and the food wouldn't even really do anything anymore and you need the full heals from leveling up, so yada yada, you can have a little bit of extra guns in your inventory. This charm gun is designed to not necessarily do damage, but to churn as many enemies onto your team as possible. Suppressive oil means you could fire straight into a crowd and it doesn't matter if you hit specific people, it just needs to hit something. Because of its major downside of 200% less accuracy when moving. You do get 3 extra projectiles from that and also negative 40% damage. But remember, this thing isn't designed to kill, it's designed to churn enemies onto your side. Now we're looking at multi-shot oil. Once again, we're losing a lot of damage at minus 70%, but we don't want to kill. I just said that. I don't need to bring it up another time. But we are getting plus 200% projectiles, baby. That's 2 more bullets. You know what could go real well with all these extra bullets? Some more bullets. And that's where 2-time oil comes in. It only takes away 10% damage, but you get 2 extra projectiles. You get no money drops, but you don't need all that money. You should have a lot of money on you or in your church somewhere. I don't know. Money's not that important in endless mode. I'm going to be honest with you. Money is very easy to come by in Sulfur, and at some point, you know, like right now, I just have 400,000 waiting to be used. I'm not going to use it. I have 120,000 on me because I forgot that I had it on me. Like, it's not Sulfur money easy. And a plus 3 of spread confirms that we really don't care what we hit here. Last but not least, we got surgical laser, which is going to give us plus 3 to bullets penetrate. At the cost of 30% damage, this gun basically isn't hurting anybody. It's a sweetie. You know how after every 20 stages, enemies grow in size, get more health and more damage? Yeah, that could be a problem. But Crusader might be your solution. That's why I made 2 brand new guns that I've never even used before for this video, because after finding out about stage 20 and up and learning the awful truth of gigantic kaiju level enemies, I knew I had to think of something for the next time I go in for a PB. Crusader is a very simple scroll. With every shot you get an increase in damage by 3, that's flat rate, so it's just an extra 3 each time. It does say that with each bullet hit it will increase the damage. I tried to do some testing in dev kit and it was complicated, it always is. It's really tough to figure out exactly what's going on with this game and its hitboxes and damage numbers always being so wonky. So I said to hell with it, let's make 2 Crusader builds, one being a shotgun, one tapping snipe machine, and the other being an assault rifle that I can use as much as I need to. Kind of like a swap-in primary at later stages. Or early stages, I don't care how you use it. You could use this as a primary, I mean that one basically is. They kind of both are, really. They're just Crusader guns. I'd not really played around with this scroll too much. Starting with the Valet, we're looking at Tandem again. And we threw Late Boom on there again. These are just the most powerful oils in the game. I don't know what to tell you. They're on a lot of guns. It gets a bit weird after that with multi-chamber oil. It gives you an extra bullet and a chance to consume extra ammo at 100%. I wanted an extra projectile without sacrificing more damage, and once again, we put a scope on this Valet so we get the extra crit rate status. I did a sniper scope. It gives you the best crit rate possibility in the game as far as attachments go, which means it's all about landing a big hit. You're using twice as much ammo, but if you get a crit, you're doing 100% extra damage. But that 12 gauge Chisel is giving us a lot more spread that we do not need, so we're going to use dead center oil to correct it. That gives you minus 2% spread at plus 1 recoil. It's a totally manageable recoil, especially for a one-tapper. You just usually got to shoot them once. Hopefully, that's the goal. And we use priming bolt again, because if you're going to use an automatic gun as a one-tapping machine, you get that 10% extra damage increase. It just makes sense. With 24 projectiles, this is banking on the information given by the scroll that it will continue to increase per bullet, so instead of getting 3 every 1 bullet, we should be getting 24 times 3, which is, don't make me do math right now, bitch. 72? Like 72 extra damage? I guess I should get back in there and test it. I took a couple of major domes, pointed them at the backs of some surprisingly willing participants, and the tests were good. One major dome had Crusader and multi-shot, while the other had just Crusader. As you can see, the one with extra projectiles is doing a lot more damage over time, confirming that it is per bullet and not per shot, thank goodness. But if you want to be less confused and you just want a Corpsemaker firing shots at stuff, I got you right here with with this bad boy. It's got tandem again and slow punch again, and damage oil is simple, giving you plus 25%. That's great for any high-powered weapon. And then an often overlooked oil, but a super strong oil. An oil that gives you plus 30 damage flat rate for no money drops. Once again, money is not hard to come by in this game once you're at the end game, and if you're at the end game, you're playing endless. Any build with its only negative bullet speed being late boom, you could swap that out with ascetic and get that damage boost from there, with them both being plus 30. But at the same time, minus 30% bullet speed isn't that impactful if it's the only one on there, so late boom is still a great choice. I wanted to showcase them both when they're pretty similar. Some homies have noticed an Augusta in the background of some videos and asked me a few times, hey, what's your build on that? And I keep saying, oh, maybe I'll break it down, or maybe I'll comment later once I can remember. I never remember, but I remembered here. This is the exact build for that Augusta. It's just got Mosquito, Savior, Parallel Mag, Potshot, and Inherited. It's another kind of primary gun, but I wanted to make sure to squeeze this in here, and I'm running out of time. I'm also running on fumes. Yesterday was New Year's Eve for me, and I'm dying. So let's get to the final two guns, the big daddies, the creme de la creme, the two strongest guns I'm going to present to you here. The last gun build video we did, I asked you guys to guess what this Neuraxis build is right here. I promised a shout out to anyone who could guess the exact build. Unfortunately, no one was able to do that. It's a crazy thing to ask, so I'm still going to throw up their guesses right here. They're pretty solid guesses, alright? You guys did good either way. This is the build for it. Don't feel bad if you couldn't get it. It's a really hard thing to ask of somebody. That's 5 whole enchantments. I could have been cheeky and done 4 or something too, so don't feel bad. Thank you for trying. First up, we got least resistance, which is so OP on the Neuraxis it isn't even funny. Once you get infinite durability, this Neuraxis becomes absurd, because the longer you fire it, the more accurate and faster it shoots. And if we throw least resistance on there, we're getting homing bullets, essentially churning it into a laser beam that just locks onto enemies and kills them while you jump around with your brain turned off. It's my favorite gun in the game right now. Like I said, you need the infinite durability to let her sing, but once you get it, oh, it's so freaking easy. You're pretty much guaranteed to win that round. They're stages, not rounds, but you know what I mean. We've already talked about Mosquito and Satiety / Tetris, that's the infinite ammo group, as well as Parallel Mag being the one that you like to pair with them. I remember you. But then we got Collateral, which gives you plus 2 bullets penetrating to make this laser, well, more like a laser. And the only negative is plus 100% recoil. It's an energy gun, guys. We don't got recoil. This thing basically has no downsides once you have infinite durability, and I love it so much. It's my favorite gun right now. My favorite gun. But it's not my most important gun when I'm playing endless mode. My most important gun is all the guns we made along the way. So we can't leave out my Arbiter, you know, the one I use to one-tap every boss that comes in front of me. It actually sounded a little weird, but every boss that comes my way, punk. That could also be seen as sounding kind of weird. Hey look, it's tandem again, and suppressive again, and late boom again. It's almost like if you make 10 gun builds in one video, you're gonna go over pretty much every oil you can think of. But hey, there's also disposable oil, which gives you plus 50 damage flat rate with a negative 75 to max durability. But this thing is specifically designed to one-tap everything. If you were to crit with a compact sight or a sniper scope, you do 25,000 damage because you get the 100% from your crit. And if you had double damage, that's 50,000 damage with one shot. Yes, it has no durability. Yes, if you get infinite durability, it becomes absurd. And a nice little secret about the Arbiter is that multi-chamber don't mean shit when you can only ever shoot once anyways. It shoots all 3 barrels at once every single time. It's only gonna be able to shoot once, guys. What I'm getting at is multi-chamber should be on your Arbiter. It just makes sense. It's built for the gun. It's a multi-chambered shotgun. Whew, there's 10 gun builds for you and 1 light head for me from all that yapping. If I forgot anything or something was confusing, as always, jump in the comments and ask. Maybe look for other builds from other people, because guess what? I'd love everyone to give a build in the comments if they want. Let's all try to make each other's brain cells grow through the power of love in a YouTube comment section, and other people will use their brain cells growing heart stuff members on YouTube. My brain is officially fried. But that won't stop me from thanking the members who go out of their way to give some extra support to my family and I every month. They don't have to do that, but they do it anyways. It wasn't even a New Year's resolution for these guys. They just been like this. They've been built like this. And recently, they got access to my new podcast, the SULFUR. That's right, I reincarnated it, reestablished it. It's now a podcast where I talk about Sulfur. It's exclusive to members, so if you didn't know, that should be up there for you now. For anyone who doesn't know what SULFUR is, it's the Sulfur Summary. It's a Sulfur podcast where I just riff on different Sulfur subjects or whatever's going on with Sulfur, along with some other stuff. It's a one-man show, obviously. For now, I don't know. Maybe we'll do a little star search, find us a guest host with the most, somebody to help me because I'm talking too much, and they can be like, hey, stop it. You know, like, maybe they can even help me end YouTube videos to where I'm not just going on and on and on. Where you at, bud? I need you.